What up, everyone? So, got a special video for you here today. Continuing with the Collecting 101 series, more things that I think can help you out. Because for those of you who don't know, the whole point of this channel is to be helpful, to help you guys out, starting out with finding the best box for you, but also this new series I've started to help you with your collection. And whether that be to get more things, to get a bigger collection, to refine your collection, or just to get things for very cheap, which is usually the case, I've tried to come up with tips to help you out. Now, the number one question that I get is, where do I get stuff? And how do I get it so cheap? And 99% of the time, where I get stuff is from eBay. So that's what this video is about. It's how to find things on eBay easily and how to find things very cheap. Because I've told people many times before, people think I'm a millionaire because I have all this stuff, when in reality, I'm not rich whatsoever. I'm actually quite poor. I'm just really good at what I do, so I get things for very cheap, if not free, based on what I do. So, and pretty much I get everything on eBay. The only thing I would not recommend to get on eBay would be sealed blind boxes. That's the only time I would recommend not getting them on eBay and getting them in the store for a few reasons. One, because it's hard to trust people. You don't know if someone's gone through boxes already and knows what's in there and is just selling you the cheap ones. And that's one reason. Two, it's also usually cheaper to find them in stores. And three, you most likely want to buy them in bulk in a full case anyway. So that's one of the only times where I'd say don't go on eBay. And not until they're out of the box would I go to eBay. So that's one of the only times I would do that. And that's where I get pretty much everything here. So I'm going to go through 5 or 6 quick tips to help you to buy things. I'm also going to do a follow-up video on this, how to sell things on eBay, so quite the opposite of that, but I thought I'd split it into 2. So just like with my first 10 tips for everyone on collecting, I'll go through these, and also look in the description if you're looking on specific ones, and I'll give a brief description of each one in there. So yeah, let's get started. This is the best place to get things, and not just for collectibles, artwork as well. All the artwork that I buy, the original stuff, the comic art, the posters, everything is on eBay. And even sometimes clothing. It's hard to find things that fit right online anywhere, but if you don't really mind about how things fit too much, then again, eBay is really cheap too. So anyway, one thing I wanted to go over first, there's 2 kinds of eBay buying and selling, and especially for collectibles. And one category is going to be common items that there are a lot of, that all you want is the cheapest price of them. That's category 1. Category 2 is things that are much, much rarer, that are high in value, that are rare items. So there's kind of 2 different strategies and 2 different categories of what you want to do. So throughout the video, you'll be hearing me referring to category 1, common and cheap, category 2, rare and exclusive or expensive. So keep in mind that these little tips that I'm going to give are not in any specific order, so they're not in order of importance by any means. They're just kind of in order of what I thought of. And also, I'm sure there's a lot more that I haven't gone over. I kept a note of all these things in my phone, and it got deleted, so this is just kind of what I remember from that. So there might be a follow-up of other tips that I have in there as well. And one more thing, I know I'm talking too much, you know, a lot of these things are common sense. A lot of these are very common sense to a lot of you, so these tips might not be helpful to everyone. The reason I've put these down here is because they've been specifically asked. I've gotten these questions asked multiple times, so I thought I'd make a video just to answer them. So some of them may not be helpful, some of them may be obvious, but they are helpful to someone, so keep that in mind. So, starting off with number 1, probably the simplest, most obvious, easiest one to know about, and that is save searches. So anytime you search for something, I always use my phone, there's an option that says follow in the top left corner. And all that does is that saves that search so you can come back to it, so you don't have to type it in every time. Which doesn't seem like that big of a deal, and it really isn't. That's just a nice way if you're constantly looking for the same items over an extended period of time, then it's easy just to go to your save searches and click through them versus remembering every single thing you were searching for and retyping it in. So that's not that big a deal. The most important part of this is the notifications. When you go to follow a search, it'll give you the option to send you notifications through email and through text. This is useful for those rare items. So this is category 2. If something is really rare, and often I look for things and there are no listings. I know one will come up eventually, but as soon as it does, people will jump on it like that. So you need to be the first one there, because if there's only one out there, you have to be first, or else you might as well not be searching at all. So that's where it comes in handy to have notifications through your phone and have the eBay app on your phone. So if it does show up, you'll be the first one to get there, so you'll be able to get that rare item if there is only one or if there's very few listings. So that can be very helpful. So that first tip is more for the rare items, and the common stuff, it helps as well, because if it's something that you are looking for over a long time, it's just a lot easier to have your whole list of searches there. So that one's not super helpful. That's just kind of a quick tip. Number 2. This one is very helpful that a lot of people don't really realize, or they realize but don't really take advantage of. And that's common misspellings. So the thing to note about eBay is that not always, but sometimes you have to be very specific and correct in the spelling. If it's a common item like an object like television or something like that, it'll usually know what you're looking for. But if it's something specific like a name, you have to spell it correctly or the search results will differ from one thing to another. I'll give you an example. So I was looking for something recently, and it was the Harley Quinn figure from the Little Bombshells, the really rare one, the 1 of 72, which I later ended up getting, but I realized that Harley Quinn is spelled with 2 N's. But I typed that in and found results. But I also didn't realize that at first. The first time I tried it, I thought it was spelled with 1 N. And I realized that it had different search results for each spelling of the word. One is spelled wrong, but other people are spelling it wrong as well. So if you search for it with 1 N, you have this many results, and if you search for it with 2 N's, you had a lot more results because it's the correct way, but it was still different. And how this comes in handy is one thing I've said a million times, and this is what's gonna help you out the most, is that people are stupid. And I don't mean that in an insulting way. I'm not trying to insult people. It's just people are ignorant in a way, and they don't know what they're doing. Not everyone out there is a master seller or master collector. Not everyone out there is like me or you guys that watch the video. Some people just happen to have an item and just want to get rid of it. So they're just basically uneducated. They don't know about stuff. The common person that just wanted to sell their Harley Quinn figure may not realize that it's spelled with 2 N. No big deal, but as soon as they list it with that 1 N name, it becomes unsearchable for all the people that have a save search with 2 N's. So here's what happens. People will look on eBay and see what it goes for and then sell it at a similar price. If this person, for example, typed it in with 1 N, they saw no results come up because they spelled it wrong. So they don't realize what it's worth, they list it for a random price, and it just sits there. And it doesn't sell, and it doesn't sell because no one knows it's there because they spelled it wrong. So eventually they bring the price down, and this is where I've always gotten the cheapest items ever. It's always because of a misspelling, because someone just doesn't know what they're doing, so they're selling it at dirt cheap. And no one else is getting it because they're searching the wrong thing. So I know that kind of is confusing, but that's a good way to do it. So if you know something like Harley Quinn has a very common misspelling, then check both of them. Have a safe search for each of them. Have one for the misspelled and one for the correct spelling. And I bet you more often than not, there will be at least one result on that incorrect spelling that won't come up on the correct spelling that you'll be able to then find and buy that other people won't because they weren't thinking of that. So that's something to think about, and it's with anything. There's a lot of big words out there, and it works the best with names, so just try different things. Like even the word Harley, like it's spelled H-R-L-E-Y, try spelling it H-R-L-Y. Just try different things and see what comes up. And you'll notice right away what gets misspelled the most commonly. And sometimes eBay is smart and it'll autocorrect to the correct search result, but sometimes it doesn't. And that's where you're going to find really cheap items from people that just don't know what they're doing very well. So that was number 2. Number 3, similar thing, and that is search all categories. You'll notice when listing something and searching for something, you can refine your results by picking a specific category. Now here's where it differs from category A and B, the common and cheap versus the rare and expensive. If you're searching for something that's rare, you want to search all categories. The only time I would say to refine to a specific category is if there is just way too many results. So, for example, if you type in the name Harley Quinn, it comes up with 10 million results, then yeah, maybe refine it a little bit till you find what you're looking for, And then once you know the correct words to type in, then you can go back and search all categories. The reason for this is the same exact reason as the incorrect spelling. There are some objects and items out there that can belong in more than one category. The problem with eBay is you can't list something in more than... What? Okay. Come up here. Come on. Sorry, hold on. Got puppies. Come here. Come up here. You're interrupting my video. Can you just come up? Okay. Okay. Oh, so sleepy. Oh, he's too tired. Gotta have his pup bed. Sorry. Back to what I was saying. eBay, you can't pick more than one category to list something. You have to pick the category, and most of the time, it doesn't really matter. Like, comic books, for example, there's a category called comic books. Like, why else would you list it in anything else? It doesn't matter. Now, collectibles, on the other hand, there's a category for collectibles. There's also a category for toys and hobbies. Any one of these things could honestly get listed in either category. Because like I said, there are some people that are very knowledgeable about it and in the know that know, hey, these are collectibles. But again, the random person that got that Harley Quinn in their nerd block might not realize it's a really rare collectible, and they think like, oh, this is just a toy, let me list it in toys. This is just one example of things that can belong in more than one category and that have to get chosen into one. So if you set your options to one category, you're only going to find things in that specific category. So if you search toys and hobbies, you're only going to find Harley Quinns and toys and hobbies. If you search collectibles, it's only going to show results for collectibles. So you see the problem. If you search all categories, it'll show results for both. So there's no reason to limit yourself unless you have to. Like I said, if it's a really, really common item and there are millions of results out there, then yeah, sure, refine it a little bit. But most likely, you're going to want something that's looking for something that's a little more rare. And if that's the case, always search all categories and go through it that way. And like I said, when you find specifically what you're looking for, you can type in more specific things on the search bar, but still search all categories because you don't want to limit yourself and miss out on something there. So it's all a matter of how much time you have actually, but make sure you're searching all categories. Don't limit yourself. Alright, number 4 is never be afraid to make offers. It always depends on the situation, but you know, it never hurts. A lot of eBay items have a best offer a best offer option on there where you can submit your best offer, but for things that are a little more expensive and rare like artwork, it never hurts to try. If it's something really common like these collectibles and action figures that are selling for $4, yeah, it's probably going to be a waste of time because no one's going to accept much lower than that. But if it's things that are a little more expensive, it wouldn't hurt to try and save a buck or two here and there. Because, you know, people are almost always willing to negotiate. It's very rare that I've found people that aren't, especially if you're buying multiple items, and especially if someone owns a store, like an online store, they're always willing to negotiate. I'll give you an example. One of the biggest comic art sellers out there is Anthony's Comic Book Art Collectibles, I think it's called. He's been on Comic Book Man. He's very well known. He's probably one of the most well known in America. Practically none of his listings have a best option offer because he doesn't want people to assume that they can get it cheaper. But he always will take offers, always. I've met him in person, I've negotiated with him in person, I've talked to him through email, I've talked to him through eBay. I've never paid his full prices because one, he charges ridiculous amounts. He always overcharges on artwork, always, always, always. So I think he knows that, and I would assume he could accept offers, but it never hurts to try. If you see someone that has a really high artwork, you know, I doubt they would be super pissed off if you said like, hey, you're asking $5,000, I only have $4,500, like, what do you say? I'm sure they'd be cool with it. Even if not, worst case scenario, they say no, then you're just like everyone else, then go back to paying full price. It just never hurts to ask. Obviously, common sense, be polite about it, like, have a reason for it, like, always be nice to these people, say, hey, I'm a huge fan, would you consider giving it to me for this price? Like, you know, be smart about it, but, you know, it just never hurts to ask, because I'll tell you, again, 90% of the things I've bought, I've put in an offer, even if it doesn't have that option, and they almost always are willing to negotiate. And again, within reason, don't ask for, like, half price. You can usually only get like a 10% discount, but why not? Why not save bucks here and there? It's just like using a coupon. Like, why not do it if you have the option? Why waste extra money if you don't have to? So like I was saying, the main point of that is never be afraid to make offer, make friends, talk to these people. It's no big deal. The worst they can do is say no. Alright, number 5. Pup's shivering. You cold? Sleepy? Number 5. And this would be beware of scams. This is a common thing. It's kind of ironic too, especially considering my last video. I totally got scammed on it. One of my earlier ones in the week, there was a big scam situation there. So one of the things where it's like, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. And here's the thing about it. When I say avoid scams, all I mean is be careful. Realize what can go wrong and play it out in your head. I'll give you an example of one I just recently went through. I wouldn't say don't buy these things, but just be prepared for the worst is a better way to put it. I bought these pint-sized hero figures, the Guardians of the Galaxy ones. Now, my girlfriend had bought me a set of them. She bought it for me as a gift, and it had all the exclusive ones in there. And she got it at a decent deal, and then gave them to me. We then split up, and then she gave me, I got the package later on, and one of the figures was missing, one of the rare ones, and it had been replaced with another one. And I instantly knew this was going to be a big deal, because there's no way I can really prove it. So I tried to go through this whole ordeal, and to sum up, it was just a big mess. And you get into these situations where no one can really be proven wrong. Like, they provided information, they provided tracking information, they provided the weight, that was the weight of 15 figures. There's no way to prove that they put in the wrong one, and once I opened the box, it was too late. It was just my word against theirs, and it becomes a big mess. So if you sense a scam, if you kind of sense that, just be aware of it. And, you know, a good thing, it sounds crazy, but a good thing to do is honestly break out your camera. If something smells fishy and you think something might be up, what I've been doing now, after I learned from that situation, if I have that feeling, I'll just pull out my phone, I'll pull out my camera, I'll set it up, and do a video of me unboxing it. You don't have to say anything, just show yourself opening it and showing off the item. So worst case scenario, if something is wrong, now you have proof. Now you have proof that you came straight from the box. You can show a close-up of all the things, then show that the tape hasn't been broken. Then you have proof of it, and then you can submit that when you submit a claim with eBay. Also, just take pictures and things like that. So just be wary of that. If things seem kind of fishy, just be prepared to maybe like record a video of it or just something to submit proof. Because I've had so many situations where I don't know if this person's pulling a scam, I don't know if it's a legit mistake on their part, but they don't believe me and I don't believe them, and there's no real solution for it. So just save yourself some trouble, be prepared for the worst situations, and be aware of scams. Also, one thing that's a really big scam that you should be aware of is pre-orders. Now, eBay has this really shitty policy where if it's a 60-day policy where things kind of get erased from the history. If there's ever a listing that says it's a pre-order and they say more than 60 days wait time, I'm not saying it's always a scam, but you are taking a huge risk because once it passes that 60-day point, you can no longer open a case about it. So what that person can do if they're trying to pull a scam is they can just wait for that 60 days to be up and they just never have to ship it to you. They have your money, and to get that money back and try and open a case, you'd have to go through eBay, and it's a huge hassle, and that's happened so many times where 60 days is a long enough period where someone can close their account, shut down their PayPal account, and kind of get away with it. So be aware if there's anything that has a pre-order and it's more than 60 days, be very cautious and realize that it may never come and it may possibly be a scam. So make sure if you do order something, let that person know you won't pay until it's like less than that amount of time. So wait on it a little bit. Alright. And the last one, this is the last one I'll go through today. We'll keep it kind of short. I know there's a lot more that I'm going to go through. Keep that in mind. I'll go through some more in the future. The last one is honestly just be safe, be smart, be responsible. And that is it's different from beware of scams. It's just beware of common sense stuff. So always check the pictures, make sure something shows all the sides, because I'll tell you another one that even today I still fall for this stuff all the time. Even though I've been doing this for years and I go through thousands of PayPal transactions and eBay transactions a month, I still slip up here and there. And especially for like pop figures, I have saved searches and I wait so long, and then when finally one pops up, I get so excited that I just purchase it without really thinking about it, and it'll show up, I'll look at the listing and it'll have pictures of all the sides except one, and then it'll show up in the box, and what do you know, I flip to the one missing side and it has damage on it. And you kind of lose track of it because you look through so many all the time. Just be sure that you've seen all sides of it And if you need to contact that person, ask for additional pictures, make sure you give people time to do that. And also read the description. If it doesn't say something in the description, then you need to ask about it. So if anyone ever says the term as is, if something is in as is condition, there's usually a reason for that. And that means there's some kind of damage they're not talking about there or they're not showing in the pictures. As is conditions means you can't file a claim due to condition because they're selling it in as is condition. So anytime you see that phrase, make sure you read through everything, make sure you get pictures of everything, and then when you get it, if there's additional damage, refer back to those pictures because that's going to be important. So make sure you're getting all the information. And it sounds like a common sense thing, but like I said, I slip up all the time. Just the other day I got one like that, and I got really pissed off because I thought they scammed me, and then I looked at the picture and I did see the same markings, and it was like, shit, that was just my irresponsibility. So make sure you look very closely at these things and use a keen eye. And again, description, if it doesn't say something in there, ask about it. It may be they just forgot to write it, or it may be they just don't want to tell you something and they're trying to get your money from you and sell you some crap. So, that was it for today. Some 6 quick tips, and I hope that helps you out some. Like I said, I'm going to have more tips coming in the future, but that's pretty much it. That's how I get things. It's a combination of each of those things. It's not one major tip, but like I said, use your head, do those alternate searches, alternate spellings, make sure you have notifications, make sure it gets in there, and with all those in mind, that's usually what will get you the best thing. And one more I just came up with that I just now thought of literally is something about bidding. I'm going to add that on because I just realized I forgot it in my notes. I'm going to add an additional number 7 right now. And what I realized for auction bidding, this is actually a big one. I'm so glad I remembered it right now. So number 7 for auction bidding is wait till the last second. And I mean literally wait till the last second to put any bid in. So as far as auction goes, there's an extended amount of time that an auction is listed for. It can be 1 day, 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, up to 10 days is the longest an auction can go for. Now, it's a silent auction, so people can bid at any point. And a lot of the times, these items start at 99 cents, and you'll notice they go up at the last minute, because that's the strategy. And there's some tips on that specifically. And what you want to do, like I said, is you always want to wait till the last second. It took me a very long time to realize this, but you have to do that. And again, I'll give you a situation where it'll make sense. So, let's say you want a statue. It's worth $500. It's being listed for $450. It has 7 days left. And you think, wow, that's a great price. I'll put it in an auction at $450. And you think, and you're watching and watching and no one else is bidding, and then the last second, someone places a bid for $460 and gets it. And you think, wow, that sucks. I totally would have paid $465 because it's worth $500, but you just not happen to be watching and someone else placed the bid at the last second. You don't want to give people the opportunity to decide they want to pay more. Because another situation is you want that same statue, it's worth $500, it starts at 99 cents. Now there's 2 people. You both want it, and you both want to bid a little bit higher. You start the bid at 99 cents, and then this person bids $150. And then you bid $2, and then this person bids $250. And it just goes back and forth and back and forth. And, you know, it's always the situation where it's like you look at the price, you take an hour to think about it, and you think, you know, what's another $1? I'll just add another $1, and then that person thinks the same thing. What's another $1 of $500? And you just keep bidding up and up and up, and at a certain point, you're just wasting each other's money. But if you had waited till the last second, same 2 people in the situation, one person's bidding the 99 cents, you wait till the very last second and bid that $2, now you got that $500 statue for $2, instead of doing that whole back and forth and just wasting each other's money. What things are worth are what they're worth. See something, decide in your mind what's the maximum amount you're going to spend on this. Really think about it. What's the maximum amount of money you would want to pay and have it still be worth it. Bid that at the last second, and then hopefully you get it. If you don't get it, then it's fine. You get someone else bought it for more than you thought it was worth. But best case scenario, you get it a lot cheaper than it's worth because a lot of other people just were taking their time and weren't there at the last second. And that's where I have like 10 million alarms set in my phone because every time I see an auction ending, I'll set an alarm for that minute, and then I'll go back and then place my bid the last second, and I almost always get it cheaper. You know, keep in mind a lot of other people do that too, so it doesn't always work, but it's a good idea. And one special thing you can do, there are actually websites that cater to that specifically. One I've used specifically is called Auction Sniper. What it is, you'll give them your information, and specifically what they do is they will bid for you at the very last second. Because let's face reality here. We all have jobs. We all have somewhere we have to be at any time. We have kids and stuff like that. We can't be huddled on our phone 24 hours a day bidding on all these auctions. That's where it comes in handy, because hopefully the other people bidding don't have that time either, and they let the auction slip by. So what these sites do, you'll give them their information, you'll tell them the maximum amount you want to bid, and you'll say, okay, bid 2 seconds before the auction ends, and they'll do it for you so you don't have to be there. So it's a helpful website that you can use, and there are tons of them out there, and they take small fees here and there, but it's very, very minimal. It's a service fee you have to pay them, but it's totally worth it because it's such small amounts over time, so it makes sense, but that's something that may help you out. So the whole point of these things is that you're hoping that the other people bidding on it either A, don't know how much it's worth, or B, don't know how to bid and will let the auction slide. Just like me, just like I've done a million times. So you're just kind of hoping that the other people aren't as educated as you. So try that out. Anytime you're doing an auction, you have to wait till the very last second. If you absolutely can't, if it's right in the middle of a business meeting or something, hit up Auction Sniper, type in the info, let them bid at the last second, and that'll help you out a bunch. So that just proved my point of like other tips that I forgot about, because like I said, the note from my phone got deleted. But there are other ones that I'll probably touch on. Sorry I had to add that last minute, but it's really important. Anyway, I hope this was helpful to you guys. I hope that made sense. I know I ramble on a lot, and sometimes my words don't make sense. I'll try to put in pictures to help it out, but I'm not sure what the eBay policy is on showing pictures of their site. Anyway, I hope that was helpful to you. If it wasn't, then I'll have more tips on the selling thing. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't think of all those things at once, but when you kind of see the big picture, everything helps a little bit. And even if one tip saves you $1 one time, why not? That's $1 you can save. What best case scenario, it can save you hundreds of dollars. If it even saves you $1 once, it's worth it. Why not try it out? It doesn't take any extra effort, really. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if these tips were helpful. And if any of you guys have some tips out there, feel free to share them in the comment. If there's something you've done that I didn't touch on, help out other people. This is all about the community. Let's all help each other. Throw yours comment in there and try to help someone out the same way I try to help you guys out. So I hope this is helpful, and I hope to do more of these videos in the future, because I think these are the most helpful. I think these are what really help people more than the box reviews. So I'm going to try and come up with as much as I can. Anyway, in the meantime, this is how to buy on eBay. 7 quick tips. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you all for watching. Say bye, pup. He doesn't care. Love you all. Peace. Pup, you're so tired. Just so sleepy. So sleepy. Can't sleep at all. It's too noisy. You can't get any sleep. Poor doggy. I know. I'm so noisy. You can't get any sleep, huh?